Hey, buddy, hit that subscribe. Just a sec for you, but it means the world to me. The room I'm sitting in right now is dead quiet. Not peaceful quiet. Nah. This is the kind of silence that only shows up after everything you believed and gets burned to the ground. The kind where the noise finally stops because there's nothing left to scream about. My name's Adrian Cole, and for most of my life, I thought I was a guy in control. I built my world brick by brick. My business, my reputation, my future. I believed I was sharp enough to see danger coming from a mile away. Funny thing is, the biggest threat in my life was sleeping right next to me every single night. We all like to believe we'd spot betrayal if it showed its face. We tell ourselves, couldn't be me. I'd know. But love? Love doesn't always feel warm. Sometimes it's a blindfold tied way too tight. And if you've ever felt that weird heaviness in your chest about someone you trust, don't brush it off. That feeling? It's there for a reason. Back then, I ran a high-level logistics company out of the Pacific Northwest. Cargo routes, ports, contracts worth millions. I lived in boardrooms and airports. 20 years of hustle, no shortcuts, no mercy. I was known for reading people. You couldn't bluff me. Or so I thought. Then there was Lena. She didn't fit into my steel and spreadsheet world. She was creative, expressive, the kind of woman who made gray days feel lighter just by walking into the room. We met at a charity event. I was there writing checks. She was running the show. She didn't ask what I owned or how much I made. She laughed at my crooked tie and fixed it like it was no big deal. That moment hooked me hard. Lena didn't come from money, and she made sure I knew it. She said fancy gifts made her uncomfortable. She wanted time, not toys, in a world full of people trying to take from me. She seemed happy just being there. That's why I trusted her. When marriage came up, my lawyers went nuclear. The prenup they drafted was airtight. Everything I built before stayed mine, and anything we built together only got shared if loyalty stayed intact. I hated how cold it looked. I almost scrapped the whole thing. Lena didn't hesitate, didn't even read it. She smiled and said, "I'm marrying you, not your bank account." I believed every word. For the first few years, things felt solid. Then the rhythm shifted. Nothing dramatic, just small changes. More solo trips, art retreats, openings in cities she suddenly had to be in. She said she needed space to find herself outside of being my wife. I wanted to be supportive. I funded her projects, encouraged her growth. While I was busy fighting union disputes and fuel costs, I didn't notice the money bleeding out, didn't see the daily withdrawal limits getting hit. I was too focused on keeping my empire afloat to realize my personal life was quietly sinking. Our 5th anniversary came around, and I wanted something real. Just us. No cameras, no crowds. I booked a cliffside restaurant overlooking the ocean. Private, expensive, perfect. That night, Lena looked incredible, but something was off. She kept checking the time. Her leg bounced under the table. When I asked if she was happy, she smiled, but her eyes were empty. She squeezed my hand and said, "I just want everything settled, Adrian. I want peace." I thought she meant stress. I had no idea she meant me being gone. She insisted on pouring the wine, toasted to new beginnings. And that's when the real storm started rolling in. What I didn't know, what still chills me to this day, was that the drink she poured that night wasn't just a toast. It was a countdown. And before the night was over, I'd realized my wife wasn't planning a future with me. She was planning my ending to AT first. I thought the wine just hit me faster than usual. Rich food, long week, maybe I was just tired. That's what I told myself. Because the truth was way scarier. Dinner wrapped up, and Lena suggested we take the scenic route back. Said she wanted to see the moonlight cutting through the trees. Normally, I'd roll my eyes. 2 hours of winding roads after a heavy meal wasn't my vibe. But when your wife smiles at you like that, you don't argue. So I drove. About 20 minutes in, something felt wrong. Not drunk, not sleepy. Wrong in a sharp, metallic way. My tongue tasted like I'd bitten a penny. The road line started doubling, then sliding apart like bad graphics in a glitchy video game. I blinked hard, shook my head. "Hey!" I don't feel so hot. I muttered, tightening my grip on the steering wheel. My knuckles went white. Lena didn't freak out. No panic. No concern. She just turned her head slightly and watched me. That should have scared me more than it did. But my brain was already slipping gears. Pull over, she said calmly. Let me drive. Her voice was steady. Too steady. I barely made it to the shoulder before my legs gave out. Gravel crunched under my shoes as I stumbled around the SUV. The world tilted like a bad carnival ride. I collapsed into the passenger seat, heart pounding like it was trying to escape my chest. She slid behind the wheel. I expected her to turn around, head toward the nearest hospital. Instead, she drove forward, deeper into the forest, away from the highway lights. I tried to ask where we were going, but my words came out thick and slow. My eyelids felt like they weighed 50 pounds. I drifted in and out, catching flashes of the dashboard clock. One moment it read 10:18. I blinked. Then it was 11:03. The smooth hum of pavement disappeared, replaced by violent bumps. Dirt road, rocks, branches scraping the sides of the car. We stopped. The engine cut off. The silence hit me like a punch. No traffic, no wind, just the forest breathing around us. Lena, I slurred. Where's the hospital? She turned off the headlights. Darkness swallowed everything. There is no hospital, Adrian, she said flatly. She stepped out of the vehicle, walked around, and yanked my door open. Cold air rushed in, slicing through my suit like a blade. Get out. Not a request. An order. I tried to move, but my body betrayed me. I tumbled out of the car and slammed into the wet ground. Mud soaked into my clothes instantly. My stomach twisted like I'd swallowed broken glass. Fire spread through my veins. But worse than the pain was the realization. This was real. I looked up at her, flashlight beam cutting across my face. The woman who once straightened my tie now stared at me like roadkill. Why? I gasped, clawing at the dirt. What is this? She sighed, like I was inconveniencing her. I messed up, she said. Bad. She crouched, keeping her distance. Told me everything like she was reading off a grocery list. Fake investments. Bad bets. Dangerous people. $7.5 million gone. People who don't wait patiently. Then she dropped the final bomb. Your life insurance is $10 million, she said softly. And divorce wouldn't give me a dime because of that prenup. Her eyes locked onto mine. But a widow? A widow gets everything. I tried to scream. Nothing came out but a wet gurgle. She kicked my phone into the bushes, stood up, and brushed dirt off her knees. It'll look like a heart attack, she said. Stress, blood pressure, tragic roadside emergency. No signal. Then she got back in the car. The engine roared to life. Mud sprayed across my face as she reversed, then turned and drove off. Her taillights shrank into the distance, 2 red dots fading into nothing. I was alone. Cold rain started falling, mixing with the mud on my cheek. My heart slowed. Beats stretched farther apart. I thought about my company, my mistakes, how stupid I had been. I saw things that weren't there. My father shaking his head, Lena laughing. I made peace with it, closed my eyes, and waited to die. Then, lights. Not heaven. LED headlights. Heavy tires crunching nearby. Doors slamming. Voices shouting. Over here. He's alive, barely. Hands grabbed me. Strong hands. Someone cursed under their breath. I forced one eye open. The face above me was blurry, but familiar. It was Marcus Vane, my biggest rival. The man who tried to destroy my business more than once. Don't you dare die on me, he growled. You still owe me a fight. I thought betrayal was the end of my story. Turns out, it was just a setup, because the man I hated most had just saved my life, and what we planned next would burn Lena's world to the ground. When I woke up, the first thing I noticed wasn't pain. It was silence with weight, the kind of quiet that comes with power and money. Thick curtains, soft air, no beeping hospital machines, no nurses rushing around. I tried to move. Bad idea. My entire body screamed in protest. My muscles felt like they'd been through a car crusher. My throat burned like I'd swallowed acid. Easy, a voice said. Calm, controlled. You're not dying today. I turned my head slowly. Marcus Vane sat across the room in a leather chair. Reading like this was just another Tuesday. The same man who tried to buy my company out from under me 3 separate times. The same guy I swore I'd never shake hands with. Where am I? I rasped. My place, he said without looking up. Private medical wing. Best doctors money can buy. Armed security. Off the grid. I tried to sit up. The room spun instantly. Don't, Marcus said. You were poisoned. Nasty stuff. Slow killer. If we'd been 10 minutes later, you'd be fertilizer. That's when it hit me. Lena thought I was dead. Marcus leaned forward. Here's the fun part, he said. She made it look clean. No witnesses. No body. Which means I'm officially missing. I finished. Bingo. Recovery was hell. Days blurred together. My organs fought off the toxins inch by inch. Every breath felt borrowed. But while my body healed, my mind sharpened. Marcus filled in the gaps. News footage showed Lena crying on camera, playing the devastated wife, talking about stress, work pressure, how I might have wandered off. She wore black like it was couture. Every tear looked rehearsed. I watched in silence. She's good, Marcus said. Yeah, I replied. Too good. That's when he laid out the truth. She doesn't want you found, he said. She wants you declared dead. And suddenly, everything clicked. The prenup, the insurance, the timing. Marcus didn't save me out of kindness. He saved me because he respected me. And because, deep down, he hated being outplayed even more than he hated me. So we made a deal. I stayed dead. No calls. No emails. No digital footprint. Marcus's people scrubbed everything. Burned locations. Fake sightings, dead ends. Then he brought in professionals, former intelligence guys, financial forensic monsters, people who don't guess, they prove. They tore Lena's life apart piece by piece. And oh man, it was ugly. The debt was real, $7.5 million. But the investors, not venture capitalists, loan sharks operating offshore. The boyfriend, real too. Name was Evan, fitness influencer with a gambling addiction and zero backbone. Text messages didn't lie. It's done. We're set for life. Just hold on a little longer. Search history showed poison research. Burner phones. Location trails. We stacked evidence so thick it made the table groan. Meanwhile, Lena pushed hard for a legal death declaration. She needed the money fast. The sharks were getting impatient. Marcus smirked when he saw the paperwork. She's walking straight into it. The will had a clause, death in absentia, preliminary insurance release. All it needed was her signature confirming no fraud, no reason for delay. She signed. That signature? That was the noose tightening. We picked the moment carefully. Downtown office. Rain pouring outside. Cameras rolling. Lawyers present. Marcus and I watched from the next room. She looks nervous, he said. She should, I replied. The attorney cleared his throat. We have one final witness to confirm estate details. Lena frowned. Witness? Who? The door opened. I stepped inside. Not in a suit. No theatrics. Just alive. The color drained from her face. So fast it was unreal. She tried to stand, couldn't. Her legs folded under her like paper. Adrian, she whispered. You're live? Miss me? I said coldly. I dropped the file on the table. Photos, messages, bank trails, poison analysis, timelines. Police stepped in behind me. Her scream wasn't fear. It was rage. Lena thought the nightmare was over when she tried to kill me. What she didn't realize was that surviving was the easy part. The hard part, the part she was about to face, was watching her lies collapse in real time. The room froze the second the cuffs came out. Lena didn't cry. Not at first. She stared at me like I was a ghost that refused to stay buried. Her mouth open, closed, open again, No sound coming out. Just pure shock. This isn't real, she whispered. You're dead. I leaned closer, just enough for her to hear me. You should have checked the pulse a little longer. That's when she snapped. She lunged across the table, nails out, aiming straight for my face. 2 officers grabbed her midair, slamming her back into the chair. The sweet, grieving widow act evaporated instantly. You ruined everything, she screamed, thrashing like an animal caught in a trap. You selfish bastard. This was supposed to be over. There it was. The real her. No love, no regret, just rage that her plan didn't work. As they dragged her out, she locked eyes with me one last time. There was no fear in them, just hatred, the kind that burns hot and reckless. The media went insane. Headlines exploded overnight. Missing CEO found alive. Wife arrested in shocking murder plot. Reporters camped outside every property connected to my name. Lena's gallery shut down within days. Sponsors ran. Friends disappeared. Turns out loyalty gets real thin when the truth shows up. The trial moved fast. Too fast for her. The evidence was airtight. Digital trails, toxicology reports, financial records, her own messages celebrating my death. Even Evan flipped on her the moment prosecutors leaned in. She sat there in court, stone-faced, staring straight ahead. No tears this time. No performance. Just the quiet realization that the walls were closing in. When the verdict came down, guilty on all counts, she didn't react. Not until the sentence was read. 20 years. Maximum security. No parole for a long time. That's when her shoulders finally slumped. I didn't feel victorious. I felt empty. Justice doesn't always feel like fireworks. Sometimes it just feels like closure you didn't know how to ask for. After everything wrapped up, the prenup held firm. She walked away with nothing. Every dollar she owed stayed her problem. And from what I heard, the people she owed weren't the forgiving type. I rebuilt quietly. New routines. Fewer meetings. More listening. Marcus, and I ended up merging parts of our operations. Funny how the guy who pulled me out of the mud became family faster than the woman I married. I walk different now. I trust my gut. I don't ignore red flags just because they wear a pretty smile. And I learned something important. Real family isn't blood or rings or paperwork. It's the people who refuse to let you die when it would be easier to walk away. Still, some nights, I wonder, was there ever a version of Lena that loved me? Or was it all just a long con from day one? I thought the story ended with her conviction. I was wrong. Because prison walls don't stop secrets. And what I found out months later made me question everything I thought I knew about my own marriage, that I thought prison was the end of it. I figured once Lena was behind bars, the story would finally stop haunting me. No more courtrooms. No more headlines. Just quiet. Healing. A chance to breathe again. Yeah, that was wishful thinking. About 6 months after the trial, Marcus got a call from one of his contacts, an old corrections officer who owed him a favor. The kind of guy who hears things he's not supposed to hear. Your ex-wife's been talking, he said. Talking how? Marcus asked. Not like a broken woman. The guy replied. Like someone who's been holding back a bigger secret. That's when the past came back swinging. Apparently, Lena wasn't just careless with money. She'd been playing games long before she ever poisoned me. She'd been skimming funds in small, unnoticeable chunks during the early years of our marriage. Testing limits, seeing how much she could take without triggering alarms. But here's the part that knocked the wind out of me. She never planned to stay married forever. From day one, she saw me as a stepping stone, a launch pad. The prenup messed up her original timeline, forced her to improvise. That's when the debt spiral began. Bad bets, worse partners, and eventually murder. She called it her exit strategy, the officer said. That phrase sat heavy in my chest. Exit strategy. Like I was a bad investment. I asked for the prison interview. Against everyone's advice. When I walked into that visitation room, she looked smaller. Not weaker, just reduced. The confidence was gone, but the calculation? Still there. She smiled when she saw me. You look good for a dead man, she said. I didn't sit down. Was any of it real? I asked. Even a little? She shrugged. You were comfortable, she said. Safe. But love? No. Love doesn't build empires. That was it. No apology. No remorse. Just honesty. Too late to matter. She leaned forward. You should thank me, she added. If I hadn't pushed you this far, you'd still be blind. I walked out without another word. That conversation messed me up more than the poisoning ever did, because it forced me to face something harder than betrayal. The truth that I ignored signs because believing felt better than knowing. But here's the thing about hitting bottom. Once you're there, you stop lying to yourself. I doubled down on rebuilding, not just a business, but me, therapy, distance, boundaries, real ones. I learned how to sit with discomfort instead of drowning it in work. And slowly, life stopped feeling like survival mode. Until Marcus came back with one last piece of news. The offshore lenders? They weren't done. They'd lost millions because Lena failed. And in their world, failure gets paid for one way or another. They wanted someone to blame. And my name was still on their radar. I survived betrayal, poison, and a murder plot. But the danger wasn't over. Because when people lose money they never should have gambled, they don't just walk away. They come collecting. When Marcus told me the lenders were still sniffing around, I didn't panic. That surprised me. Omi would have gone full defense mode. Lawyers, walls up, trust nobody. But something had changed. I wasn't running anymore. I'd already stared death in the face and blinked first. These guys don't care about prison, Marcus said. They care about money. Good, I replied, because that's the one thing I can control. We move fast and smart. Not loud, not reckless. Marcus uses offshore contacts to push the truth where it hurt. Lena had lied to them, misrepresented assets, fake timelines. The money was never guaranteed. And the moment she tried to kill me, she burned every bridge connected to that debt. In their world, that matters. They didn't want war. They wanted distance. Once they realized I was alive and fully aware, the pressure shifted. The threats dried up. The silence came back. Real silence this time. Months passed. Then a year. No shadows. No late-night calls. No fear creeping in every time a car slowed down near my house. I finally started living again. I sold the old place, the one full of ghosts, moved somewhere smaller, quieter. I kept my circle tight. I stopped confusing access with loyalty. Marcus and I still work together, but now it's different. Mutual respect. No ego games. Funny how almost dying clears out the nonsense real quick. As for Lena, I heard she tried to appeal. Tried to spin herself as a victim of circumstance. Didn't work. The system she tried to game locked her in and threw away the key. I don't visit her. I don't hate her. She doesn't get that kind of space in my head anymore. What she gave me, without meaning to, was clarity. I know what manipulation looks like now. I know the cost of ignoring your gut. And I know that love without honesty is just a slow motion trap. If you're listening to this and something feels off in your life, don't wait for a dramatic explosion to wake you up. Pay attention to the quiet warnings, the little moments that don't add up, because sometimes the danger isn't loud. Sometimes it smiles at you, pours you a drink, and calls it love. I survived, not because I was lucky, but because I finally chose to see the truth. And trust me, that changes everything. If you've ever felt manipulated, used, or betrayed, remember this. You're not weak for trusting. You're strong for learning. Stick around. Subscribe. Join people who refuse to be victims and choose clarity over comfort. Your life is worth protecting.